Thanks for tuning in to Women Who Open Doors, a podcast dedicated to lifting the voices of incredible women in our communities who not only excel in their careers, but inspire us through their actions for others. Hi, I'm Julie Collins, owner and coach of Not Magic, and it's my honor to help share the stories of these remarkable women. So without further ado, welcome to Women Who Open Doors. Welcome to Women Who Open Doors. I'm super excited to introduce to all of our listeners a wonderful woman in her 24th season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Kareeda Chones Aguam is the Senior Vice President of Partner Strategy and Management, leading a team responsible for managing over 70 marketing partnerships and $55 million for the Milwaukee Bucks and Fiserv Forum. A graduate of Marquette University, shout out to Marquette, and a 4-year letter winner of the Marquette women's basketball team. Kareeda learned and understood the importance of giving back and constantly pouring in to our community to make it a better place, and the reason why we wanted you on this podcast. She is a current member of the board of directors for the Freighter Hospital Board and Marquette University's Institute for Women's Leadership Council. In addition to her position with the Milwaukee Bucks, Kareeda also has been a freelance voice talent artist for over 20 years and does lots of employee videos, commercials, including Milwaukee Bucks basketball, and her most recent project, which we will talk about today, as the voice of Fiserv Forum. So welcome, Kareeda.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here with you. Honored to be asked, but I always have the opportunity to kind of give back, tell my story, hopefully help someone else. Is always a pleasure. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, the reason why we select women like you is really about this giving back theme, which I know we'll talk probably a ton about today. But I would love to start learning more. We heard in your bio about your sports background, but tell us a little bit more about this. You know, you've been in the sports industry for so long, but also your passion prior to getting into actual career in it. Tell us where it comes from. Where does this passion for sports come from?
Well, I think I was kind of, it comes from our family. You know, my father, as many people know, played in the NBA for about 11 seasons. I'm the oldest of 5, and basketball was life. You know, that's what we
Yeah.
did. Dad played, like I said, for 11 years. My sister, my brothers, all of us played collegiate basketball at some level, at D1 level. Actually, I've been told that we're the only family that have had 6 Division I basketball players. So dad was at Marquette, my sister
Yeah.
All-American at NC State, and then I have triplet brothers. Actually, 2 played at Colgate and 1 played at Brown. So that's where the passion
It's
comes
life.
from. I
Yeah.
knew I always wanted to be somehow still involved with sports. Following
Yeah.
my days at Marquette, I didn't go to continue to play pro, but I knew I wanted to be involved at some level. So I just knew that passion was there. So
Yeah.
the passion started early. That's something that mom and dad instilled in us early, making sure whatever we do, that we do it to the best of our ability. And for the most part, all of us are still in sports at some level, doing something with regards to sports, which is really exciting as well.
Did you say that your mom was involved too, or was she just the shepherd for all of you as well?
Yeah, my mom played volleyball in high school, but she
Okay.
was the shepherd. You know, dad was traveling quite a bit, but she really kind of held it down. She was a stay-at-home mom, and I give praise to any
Yeah.
woman or man that stays home with children. I love my babies dearly, but I love getting out in the workplace. I love working with the young talent that I do here at the Bucks. So she was kind of the one behind the scenes, and dad always, pays homage to mom for like being there to make sure we're at all of our practices. We're doing all of our homework primarily, but at practices and really pushing us, and has raised, 5 dynamic professionals. It's really been
Yeah.
great.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic. A family affair, a
that's
family
right.
affair.
For
That's
sure.
super
For
cool.
sure. Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, tell us a little bit more about being in this, executive leadership position for the Bucks. Obviously comes with its challenges. We were
Mhm.
just offline talking a little bit about working on the business and in the business sometimes at the same time. But walk us through a little bit of your key learnings over your career journey in this industry, maybe some obstacles or things that you've kind of learned about yourself as you've move through the journey?
My career journey started out in ticket sales. So when I first came after I graduated from Marquette, I came over here to the Bucks and ticket sales. That's where the majority of us started. Learning the basis of what it is to sell pro sports. I was okay at it. Wasn't the best, but it was something I really loved. Just being here, being in the arena, feeling the excitement during game night, and moved on after a year and kind of came into this world of corporate partnerships once the Bucks at the time brought those back in house. And really a lot of what I've learned as a professional, a lot of my ability to lead the way I do, I've really kind of been taught I wasn't trained. We just, we
Mhm.
kind of brought people on and I knew how to treat people. And it's not that hard. As we talk about leadership and how we engage with one another, to me, what I've learned about myself, in order to lead, you have to have people trust you. You have to be good to people. And wow, what does that mean? That means be human. So for
Mhm.
me, 25 years ago, 24 years ago, it's all about being human. When I'm on the phone calling about tickets, maybe I'm not trying to sell you on something that I don't believe in. So then I move over to corporate partnerships and it's about developing those relationships, getting companies and people to trust you and to engage with you and know that you're looking out for them. Being human. Okay. That got that down. And then I started gathering a team. I went from one person on my team to now a team of about 13, 14 of some of the best young professionals. I will say that because I love all of them like they're my children. Um, but some of the best young professionals, I think, in the business, and I talk about how they become successful is because I treat them as human beings. Everyone needs to be managed differently. Everyone needs to be led differently. But at the core, you treat people like you want to be treated. It sounds really simple, but it's really true. And that's something that
Mhm.
my mom, would have instilled in us, or dad instilled in us, regardless of whatever level or whatever your titles say, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I want people to say, wow, Kareeda's been a great person and a great
Mhm.
leader. And she genuinely cares because I do. I
Yeah.
can't be successful at what I do unless I'm successful in being a good person to those. So that's something I learned about myself. When I think about the challenges that I've gone through, I would say, yeah, I mean, like challenges that everyone, has gone through. Many people didn't look like me in the NBA, women of color. So that was very difficult, I think, early on in my career. There weren't a lot of folks that looked like me to achieve, to look forward to. Like I don't see anyone that looks like me in the front office. So that was something that, I just had to figure it out for myself, and I had a good tribe around me. I think that's what's important when people ask, "Who were your mentors?" Or I had a lot of people. I always say my
Mm.
parents, I always say my coach at Marquette, Terry Mitchell. She taught me a lot about helping me develop that confidence, but also surrounding myself with good people. So I knew although I didn't have someone that looked like me and, in the
Mhm.
industry, I had a tribe around me of good people that continued to support me, that continued to challenge me, and help me along the way. So I think that that's so key and so important. As far as advancing in my career, there's definitely been struggles there, and I think the biggest thing for me was learning to speak up for myself, and that's something I always tell people to do when you want something or you want to talk through the value that you bring to the table, which is always important. You have to be able to go and speak up for yourself, have your receipts, and don't apologize for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I imagine this intersection of your passion for sports and then being in a job that is directly linked to your passion also provides some confidence or some fulfillment for
Yeah.
you, I would imagine?
Absolutely does. I mean, not a lot of people can say they come to work every day and love what they do. Julie, I
Mhm.
love what I do. Like I
Yeah.
do,
You can tell. You can
Um,
tell.
you get up every morning and I know there's people in my family, my aunts, there's my aunts and uncles that are like, "Oh, I got to get into the office today and get this done for a check." And it's like, "No, I love it. I love managing the people that I get to manage every day, engaging with my clients every day. Our leadership team here has been supportive, and then also understanding what we bring to the community, to the world. Entertainment.
Mhm.
I always tell our team opening night, and the first game of a playoff run, get in the arena and just feel the
Mm.
energy and to know that you're even playing a little part in what's happening, is so special to me. And that's what makes
Mhm.
me so happy. That's what keeps me getting up every day and coming
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
I love that because it's really this core purpose that you're
Mhm.
helping your your team
Yeah.
recognize and even feel just that feeling. I mean, I can
Mhm.
feel it when you talk about it, and I'm
Yeah.
not even working for you. So, that's really cool. That's really cool. So talk to me. I mean, part of when I looked at your bio and we did all the research too, I love this element of organizational culture that you speak so highly of and how you work with your team. But you mentioned to us that during this period of time also, the partnership revenue has quadrupled during your leadership. I think this element of humanism and really connecting with people is important. But walk me through some tips for people, for business leaders on, including that humanism and even engaging people around those metrics. How did you do that?
I think a lot of that human factor as well is something that is so important when developing business relationships. I think really, I always give a shout out to our leadership team here. Our president and my direct leader is Matt Pizarris, and it's a human factor, but it's developing relationships. So you ask, like, how do we continue to retain our revenue and grow our revenue? It's because we develop levels of trust with our partners. That's
Mhm,
what's so important. Our partners know that when they invest with the Bucks, they're going to get the value and they're going to get
mhm,
more than their value, but they also have relationship trust that we're going to be looking out for them. We're going to be understanding their industry, being able to look for opportunities for them. And we always say, if I sign a partnership with you, Julie, on day one, it's not going to look the same at the end of our partnership. Then I haven't done my job. So we're in a
mhm,
constant communication. And it becomes an ebb of flow of conversation. And my team laughs at me, but I call it dripping. We drip on our clients to make sure that I'm always reaching out and being there. So we'll
yeah.
talk weekly on how this partnership's working for you. How are the KPIs coming out? Are we helping you hit your goals? Are we helping you achieve the brand awareness that you want? How's that brand affinity? How are your customers relating to the assets that we put in the partnership? Does this make sense for you? How are you using your hospitality? Like, we're constantly evolving the partnership. That's
Mhm.
what's making us so successful. And of course, the team too. I mean, we have one of the best players in the world, thank God, and that helps too. But I think, basketball or not, it's all about developing those deep relationships and that trust with those partners. And that's why this team has been so successful.
Yeah. Talk to me about your team a little bit more in terms of how you help grow those leaders. You already recognize they're rising stars or
Mhm.
superstars, but talk to me about, your role and the team's role in their development and what's really important to you.
Well, I think when we interview our team, some of the things that we really talk about are having the same kind of mentality when it comes to working in a team: teamwork, selflessness, humble, and work hard. Those are things that, at what we do for a job, that can be taught, right?
Mhm,
How learning our assets, learning how to sell, helping negotiate, that can be taught. But things that I make sure we try to make sure when we're interviewing people, at their core, are these some good people that I want to
mhm,
work with every day, that are going to look
mhm,
out for each other? A little bit competitive edge is always fun, but at the end of the day, are you going to be there for your teammate to help pick them up when they're in need? If
mhm,
someone has a huge event or an initiative or something going on, hey, let me give you an idea. Hey, can I help you? Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. So when I
mhm.
have a team of people that want to work together, value one another, support one another, that's going to equate to success for our entire department. And that's so important. I can't have one wayward person who kind of does their own thing and doesn't want to help, wants to be
Right.
selfish. That's not going to work. And you're going to stick out like a sore thumb, because from the
Mhm,
top to the bottom, from our leadership down, that's the expectation. You're being transparent, you're being authentic, you're being helpful, you're a teamwork, you're going to bring value to the team, you're going to work your butt off. Like, let's just be
mhm.
clear, that's what we do, and
Right,
it's fine.
right.
And
Yeah.
that's known, of course, but you gotta work together, you gotta be willing to come to the table. That's a big part of it. Can you do the job? Do you understand what we're doing? Can you help grow the business? But also, there's another side of it. How are you as a professional? Are you able to be a good person? Are you someone that can be
Mhm,
a leader? Not everybody's a leader, and that's
mhm,
okay. Some people
mhm.
have lanes of execution and they can still be good teammates, and that's wonderful. Some people are on leadership track. So those are things that we kind of discuss during their one-on-ones that I have with the team, and that's really kind of helps them, continue to grow in their career path.
Yeah. I would love to chat with you a little bit here about this younger generation because so many times I hear it in conversations right at the senior leadership level. I wish they could be better. I wish, I wish, I wish.
Mhm.
And there's such a divide sometimes between, people that have been in leadership roles for such a long time. So give us a little bit of your perspective because you are working with this next generation. Give us kind of your perspective on it.
Yeah, I think there can be disconnect, I think, but you always have to meet people where they are. And there's a lot of little it's so funny, we'll be in meetings and a song will play or we'll bring up something and a lot of the team has no idea what I'm talking about. And I'm like, "Ooh, I'm dating myself," right? But I
Yes.
also try to do my best to engage and kind of meet them where they are, and kind of understand where their high points are and where there are opportunities for their growth. So that's what I've learned. Like everybody, like I said, everyone is so different on my team.
Mhm.
So I can't generalize and say, well, yeah, this generation is doing this because I have all different generations on the team, more of a younger demo, but they all are such hard workers. I think
Yeah,
we're very blessed because I
yeah,
know I have counterparts and across the league, and many of them say, "Man, I have people that come in and like a week later, they're like, hey, I want your job." It's like, no, I think we're very lucky that have folks that understand there is a path to success and growth here, but they
yeah,
have to work and continue to work to get there. It's not going to be given to them, and I think
yeah,
that's something we explain early, and it's something for us all to explain early to um, to the folks that we manage, kind of lay out the path as best as you can. But at the end of
right,
the day, you just got to work and make it happen and be ready when those promotional opportunities do come around, right?
yeah,
Our head of HR made a great point. She's like, you could be the best employee in the world, you can have great culture, but there's so many factors that go into you continuing to progress that you
right,
might not even know about, but you just have to be ready. And a
yeah.
lot of times that's all I can tell you, you know?
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't get handed on a
No,
platter.
it does not.
It certainly doesn't.
Yeah,
That's for sure. That's
right.
for sure. You've given a lot back to the community, I mentioned that a couple times at the beginning. So, especially to women, you just did a recent keynote address at Tempo and lots of other ways throughout the community. So tell me about why that's really important to you.
Well, as I said, as we continue to grow as leaders, it's always our duty to reach behind and give back. As I said earlier, when we first started chatting, there weren't a lot of women doing what we
Mhm,
do.
mhm.
So I want to make it easier for the next generation, the next young woman of color to have these opportunities. Maybe it doesn't take 20, 25 years for someone else. And I don't want that, you know. Every time I have these opportunities to speak and engage with someone, I do it because I want to make sure I'm able to drop maybe a little nugget to help someone else.
Mhm.
I do it for my sister. She and I actually had another keynote in New York last week, and we talked a lot about making sure that we continue to pave the way because it's our duty.
Yeah,
And there weren't a lot, and she's also in the NBA working right now, and she's like, "There was no one on," right now she works with all men, and she's like, "There's not a lot of women in my role, but I wanna continue to grow as well." She wants to be a GM of a team one day, and she absolutely can be.
yeah.
But she's like, "Where it's tougher when you're paving the way, that's for sure."
Right,
Yeah,
right, blazing the
yeah.
trail. So what's the advice? What are some of those nuggets that you usually drop to, this, next kin of leadership?
Yeah, one thing I always say is speaking up for yourself. That's something I
Mhm,
did not do early on in my career. I always talk about a book I read from Mika Brzezinski, "Know Your Value,"
mhm,
and she talks about this in the book about we as women a lot of times don't ask for what we want. We just hope that our leadership sees it, or hey, I'm just going to keep working, keep my head down. Um, and our male counterparts will bust through the doors and say, "This is what I want," or "I'm out," blah blah, blah. And a lot of times they get that. And
mhm,
so she talks about how when we do come to the table, have your receipts, of course, show your value. What is, talk,
mhm.
you have the numbers, but don't apologize.
Yeah, yeah,
You go into that room and say, "Yep, this is what I have. This is the value that I bring. This is what I need to continue to grow." And sometimes companies will give you that. Sometimes they can't, and there's other reasons why they can't. You just have to be ready for any kind of outcome, but we just have to be more confident in ourselves. That's really important. And then I
mm,
think another nugget is just networking, getting to know people. After every keynote, I probably get 30 to 40 LinkedIn requests. And I accept them. And I think what I've tried to encourage the younger generation is having 10, 15-minute coffee talks like we're doing now,
mhm,
just to kind of talk with leaders, understanding how they got to where they are. Not asking for a job all the time, because
mhm,
that's probably a
mhm.
turnoff for many, right? But
Right.
having a 5 to 10-minute conversation on how I got to where I was, that's how you kinda gather that knowledge, and then I see you as a young professional, we talk for 5, 10 minutes, "Oh, I remember that young woman or that young
Mhm,
man. Let me reach out and see where they are. Let's follow them on LinkedIn and see how they've turned
mhm,
out." That's
mhm.
really key and important. So speaking up for yourself, for sure networking, reaching out, and just being a good person. I'm telling
Mhm.
you, obviously you and I have been working in the field for quite a long
Mhm.
time, and there's a lot of people that just aren't good people, and
Yeah.
I just don't think it's not that difficult to be a good person, because
Yeah.
developing that trust, becoming a really good leader, and becoming a successful professional, that I think that's what it's all about. I really
Right.
do. Yeah.
I think you just have to be true to yourself. You have to be
Mhm.
who who you are. That is a struggle for women
Mhm.
sometimes, is just being, are we trying to be somebody we're not? Because that's what they, and I don't even wanna define who they is, because it depends for every person, but that's who
Right.
they think I should be, and the minute you start coming to, "No, that's who I am, and that's okay
Right.
with it." I do think that does come with time a
Yep.
little bit,
Yep.
but I do think it's a lot easier to be more human and to be just not in a fear place of, "I'm trying to be somebody I'm not."
Yeah, it's too hard. I'll
Yeah,
forget.
yeah,
I can't forget. I just gotta be who I am. This is who I am, you know?
right, right. There's other things I gotta worry about.
For
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about this voiceover talent, where that started to from, and how that's impacted your career as well.
Absolutely. So right after college, when I started all the jobs, I was at Marquette for a year before I jumped over to the Bucks. But at the same time, I started doing Marquette TV sideline
Mm,
reporting. I was a color analyst for the women's team. I also hosted a TV show on Spectrum, a coach's show. And I also, my third job was a DJ. So I was a DJ here in Milwaukee on Light 97 and 106.9 Smooth Jazz. Love that. Just something to do in the overnight. So I was working, not making a lot of money, but
yeah,
just doing a lot of things.
sure.
And one night at the studio, one of the producers was taping a commercial. He was just recording a commercial. And he's like, have you ever tried this? He's like, I really need a female voice to the end of this. I was like, okay, sure. So I got behind the mic and I read whatever I needed to read. He was like, wow, you have a really good tone. And I was like, wow, that was kind of fun. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where it all started. So over 20 years, been doing radio commercials, TV commercials, and shows and videos forever. So hoping to get my own kind of freelance Aguama
Yeah.
Productions launched this year. But that's kind of where it started. So the most recent thing you acknowledged was Fiserv Forum, which as you come to Fiserv Forum now, when you walk in the arena, I'm the one that's saying, "Welcome to Fiserv Forum." So, the voice of the arena is pretty cool, and it's really exciting too. It's
That
really
is
fun to come
cool.
with my children because they always give me a tough time. "Oh, that's mom. What are you saying?" Yeah, it's great.
What
It's great.
what do they think? I mean, obviously, it's pretty cool to have a mom that is with the Bucks. Maybe they don't understand everything you do every day, but then
Mhm.
to say she's the voiceover of Fiserv Forum, I mean, what do they think?
Oh, they think it's cool. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
They're 12 and 9 now, so they totally get it, and they know that mom's gone a little bit, a lot, on game
Yeah.
nights during the season and starting to travel, but they understand it's kind of what mom does, and I think more than anything, they're proud, which is great, and
Mhm.
it's kind of it's the life we live, and they're okay with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And shout out to your husband too. You've been married
Abs-
for 15 years.
Yeah, yeah, he's the like, and you have to be in this business. My sister just got married last year. We've met our spouses in this business. We've had
Okay.
children. She'll hopefully have children soon in this business, and that's really important. The women that are in these positions have very strong men behind them that get it, and
Mhm.
continue to support. And I totally shout out my husband for game nights when I'm at the arena, he's at home helping with homework and
Right.
getting everything settled there. So I can't be who I am if I don't have that support from him. So I
Yeah.
definitely thank him for that. Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Mhm.
very cool. So you mentioned a little bit about Aguam Productions. So tell us a little bit more. What's next for you? What do you hope? Obviously, you're always on the go,
Yeah.
but tell us a little bit more what you think is next for you as well.
Yeah, well, I hope to be with the Bucks as long as they'll have me. I
Yeah.
absolutely love what I do and continuing to grow talent and grow revenue and be a big part of hopefully another championship team. But on the side, this voice work, I really enjoy it. So I'm going
Yeah.
to be putting together my website and demos and kind of getting it out in the marketplace and see what happens. I've also talked about maybe doing some more opportunities, panel discussions, and talks with my sister and I, because we actually did a panel together, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, and we love that. We love kind of
Yeah.
being out telling our story, helping someone else along their career path, personal journey. So the more I can do that, the more I can continue to give back. That's kind of going to be the pulse of whatever I continue to do in my career.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I
Yeah.
would imagine it's pretty cool even for your children to watch you start other things that are really your own.
Right.
And
Absolutely. Yeah, we
That's
put a little studio in our house and it's under the stairs. It's actually a pretty little small space, but there's a candles and lights and they're like,
yeah,
"Can I do homework?" And I go, "Stay out of there." But no, it's nice and they really help me kind of put it together. So I just think that's important. I think we got to be great examples for our children, and then be examples for one another. That's what's
yeah,
key and important.
yeah. Fantastic. After everything you've talked about that you've done pre your career, you work a lot. You do a lot. Like, what's the outside relaxation? When do you bring it down? When do you sleep?
No,
What's the deal?
That's so funny. That's the balance question, right? Like everyone's like, "How do you balance is work-life balance?" Which I don't think there is one. There's
Yeah,
no such
yeah,
thing. I'll
yeah. I
always
don't
say
ask
that.
that question. I don't
Yeah,
ask that question anymore because I don't know if there
yeah,
is. But when do you sleep?
I know. I do have time, but I someone asked the other day about what I do for myself, and when you have to pause and think about that, that's not so good. So
Hmm,
for me, I think we have some time off here in the summer, so sometimes I'll take those days and like tell no one and just kind of like be on my own and like vibe out rather than listening to music or to going to the spa or just go sit at my favorite cafe. That's something I'll do. But my husband plays basketball out on the weekends, so he'll take the kids like for half a day and like just even bopping around home goods. Like that's the kind of thing I
yeah,
do for myself. But I definitely would say I probably need to do more of that.
yeah,
And then the summer's usually my time to do that. So that's okay. Yeah.
yeah. Little
Mhm.
downtime. You said
Yeah.
this is kind of the busy season right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
for you.
For sure. Absolutely. But that's okay. That's
Yeah.
what I do. Yeah. I love it.
That's cool. Well, let us help lift a little bit for you also. So we do have business owners, businesses,
Mhm.
that might be interested in partnering with the Bucks. So give us a little bit of that wrap of how should they contact you? What's important to know about working with the Bucks from your
Mhm.
perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely can reach out to me if there's any opportunities to partner with us. Be it there's so many different avenues and programs that we put together because every partnership that we have is always custom. It's Bucks, and you mentioned Fiserv Forum as well. So we own and operate all of that. So there's opportunities if Bucks outside of Bucks in our district, throughout the district, there's also opportunities. So the biggest thing for us, I'd say, if people are interested in wanting to partner with us, is just to contact me because I can never say here's our spiel, here's what we have to
Right.
offer because everything we do is customized. But I think just having those discovery conversations to see how our brand that's now local, national, global can help uplift other companies and other opportunities. We're all about that too. So, but reach out, that'd be great. And if any other companies need a voice artist, I'm always here too.
That was my next question, so you already moved right in. That's okay. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, we'll definitely help you promote that over time too. So you've just been so wonderful to talk to. Thank you so
Oh,
much for giving back to the community and especially this whole human aspect of culture with organizations. It resonates with my heart personally because
mm,
that's what I believe as well. So I just really appreciate that because I really think it needs to echo louder
mhm.
throughout the business world, especially. So I really appreciate that perspective from you
Oh,
today.
no problem, and it is. At the end of the day, it's not nothing we do is rocket science. It's not difficult, as you said, just being a good person, it can take you a long way in this business and others as well. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We know it's busy season, so I want you to get back to that and start, increasing that revenue for the Bucks. Go Bucks! We're all big fans. So,
Thank you so
thanks so
much.
much for your time, Karita.
Thank you too, and I hope to see you down at Fiserv Forum soon. Take
We
care.
will.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we have. Are there inspirational women leaders in your life? Recommend them for this podcast by emailing me at jcollins@knot-magic.com and telling me why they're the perfect person to be featured. And please leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts to help us share these amazing women with others.